Oh man, I've been waiting a long time for this. But like I said, I mean, I just talk all things wrestling, Jerry. You know what I do. I mean, it's been a long time since I've literally just talked one on one with you, but I figured,
Hmm.
why the heck not? So let's just do it. Hello, everybody out there in the internet world, professional wrestling fans, casual, hardcore, sports enthusiasts galore. Welcome to the pre-ultimate city predicting as me and Jerry of 1,000 names, the new normal, Jerry Bound for Glory Jr., the founder of Barnbark, who hates guacamole, and I also agree with that sentiment. Sorry, not sorry. Yes, we're against avocados. It is what it
I'm
is.
okay with avocados. It's just a texture thing, I think. I don't know.
The texture thing is a whole different conversation. I mean, it's like, you see those presentations of foods, and it's like, I don't know necessarily if I'm going to like this just because it looks nice. I might actually like this even though it doesn't look pleasing. But again, what do I know? But that being
It looks
said, I
like
know we're going to, right. I know we're going to have a feast with this conversation. It's been a long time, Jay, but welcome everybody to a pre-ultimate city predicting conversation as the simple, impactful duo is back for our convo, as we are going to discuss briefly and probably eloquently, and probably go off the rails a little bit too, talking about our fandom and excitement for Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory. This upcoming pay-per-view, of course, will be Saturday, and it will be presented across the Championship Blood vs. Mia live watchable events, courtesy of me and Dutilla, who will be on the call. So stay tuned for more on that, and you can follow the show by ordering it on Impact Wrestling's YouTube channel. 8 matches here. We got 2 All-Fame announcements, and this could be their biggest Bound for Glory in a long time, as this is their biggest pay-per-view of the year. And again, me and Jerry, we are representatives of Armbar. So please follow Armbar on Facebook if you can. Just simply look it up like that and be part of the fun, very toxic-free environment. But I digress. That being said, Jerry, it's been a while. Good to see you, my friend. How you been, and how you feeling about Bound for Glory this weekend?
Bound for Glory looks really, really exciting. I think it's the first time they've actually sold out like the arena for quite a while, and
Yeah.
the card is like just stacked. So I'm ready to talk about it.
All right. Well, without further ado, why don't we just get right into it? So, as we know, we'll first, of course, honor legacy as we see who will forge the way to victory and truly marches into Bound for Glory and claim the glory in the end. But we got to talk about, of course, the past and the OGs. And when it comes to the past, you got to look at the guys that brought you the narrative, that brought you into the product. As, of course, the immortal voices of TNA, Mike Tenay and Don West will be inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame by the coach, by the president now of Impact Wrestling, Scott D'Amore. Jerry, when these two people were on our screens or even off screen, there was just a certain unbelievable freaking chemistry and energy when these two were brought together. When it was just Mike Tenay's casual calling of the match, but you feel his excitement rise, and then the absolute just overwhelming energy released by Don West when it came to the moments you saw in the ring, especially when it got him to say, "You got to be freaking joking."
Oh yeah, you've got to be kidding me! Especially when like the Hurricane Rana from Eli Skipper off the top of the cage. That was just an iconic call right there. Yeah. So that was fantastic.
Oh my gosh. And again, Mike Tenay, again, the professor of TNA, who christened Jeff Beach, the West Coast professor, even though Mike Tenay's out in Las Vegas. He always just had that way to, deliver, the thoughts, the stats, and the simple calls. But even he at times got out of his skin, especially when Raven, of course, was like shaved bald, the controversy with Jeff Jarrett in the early days. I'm very happy to see these two go in. Again, RIP to Don West. God bless you, brother.
With Tenay, I thought he was going to be like the odd man out for a long time in the last days of WCW, but he just did so well with calling cruiserweight matches and more of the technical stuff to the point he just won me over. So when I found out he was going to be with NWA TNA, then after a while Impact, it all just felt right because he's actually calling stuff that he actually knew versus like some sort of random announcer that didn't really know. Like a sleeper hole from a guillotine choke. Like Jim Ross has said a lot of times, it's all about storytelling. Mike Tenay is able to do storytelling, but then also still have the knowledge of what's going on in the ring to convey it in a way that was really, really great. So this is well deserved.
It's one of those things where I do think a play-by-play guy kind of lacks one or the other. They either know the wrestling mechanics or they know more about the story versus the actual wrestling in the ring. I look at Michael Cole, who's still confused to this day about a Michinoku driver versus a Falcon Arrow, but he can tell you verbatim the story of the bloodline going all the way back to Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon Sr.
Yeah.
I look at Excalibur, who could call every form of a move and every hold as well, with Taz adding more of a technique, but Excalibur really doesn't draw you into the story. Mike Tenay was able to find that happy balance, not only call the wrestling, but bring you up to speed in the narrative that was trying to be played out. Because that's what wrestling is at the forefront. It is a narrative being played out to an ending, to a climax, to a cliffhanger, to its next chapter. It's a continuing saga until you see that ultimate conclusion where someone is, well, pretty much in glory. So I really do appreciate the fact that Mike Tenay was able to find that happy balance.
Like I said, there's two schools of thought when it comes to announcing or because commentating. There's the Jim Ross way, and then there's the Joey Styles way. Mm-hmm. Joey Styles is like the epitome of what I think the wrestling announcer should be. Very knowledgeable in the product, but also able to add emotion to any story that may be going on in the ring or any kind of storyline that may be going along. Granted, he had to do those cutaway type things and introduce certain things, but otherwise he was always on point. And Mike Tenay is also like that too. So I think that's where he got a lot of his inspiration from, or where he pulled a lot from, was Joey Styles. So
yeah, I could definitely see a lot of Joey Styles in him. And of course, Jim Ross, I call him the voice of professional wrestling because he literally was my biggest influence this generation. And I'm not sure how much Mike Tenay and Jim Ross have either worked together or taught to each other. And of course, Jim Ross will always give credit to Gordon Solie. Congrats to Tony Schiavone, another great voice of the industry, who got the Gordon Solie Award. So, but again, there are very few people that are up there with what Mike Tenay did, let alone what Mike Tenay and Don West did together. It's one thing to do it as a solo act. It's another thing to really be able to bring something even more forward with a great additional partner. And he and Don West were the perfect duo. But I do think Matthew Wayman and Tom Hennigan, they do have good chemistry, and I think they are doing Impact Wrestling, and these two great Justice.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Justice, who enforced Knockouts Law at one point, the original OG who managed Rude Industries at one point, Tracy Brooks, will also be inducted to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, and she will be inducted into the Hall of Fame by probably the pioneer of the Knockouts industry, for being perfectly honest, the first ever Knockouts World Champion, record 7-time Knockouts World Champion, Gail Kim. Many people may not know a lot about Tracy Brooks, though, but again, she was one of those that kind of, paved the way a little bit beyond being a valet. Yeah, she was a manager. Yeah, she was a little bit of an enforcer to a degree and was a lot enforced by her.
She was a constant presence is what she was.
Exactly. That's the whole different thing. It's another thing just to be there in the corner. It's another thing to be more actually part of the action. And that's no disrespect to the likes of Miss Elizabeth, the first ever woman of professional wrestling. Sorry, Maria Canales. But I'm happy for Tracy Brooks. And again, you think about what Tracy Brooks, again, laid the blueprint for in TNA and WATNA, however it was called. There are others that kind of followed that path a little bit, and then they blew it out of the water. Brooke Tessmarker is one of the most examples I think of, when she started off just as Eric Bischoff's secretary.
Well, I'm about to say, she also, even before all that, she was part of Second City Saints for a while in Ring of Honor. So she's a veteran. She's may not have won really many world titles or women's titles or anything, but she's been a constant presence in women's wrestling, and just as a viable manager or valet. So this is awesome that she's actually getting inducted in.
Yeah, I think simple class, absolutely deserving, and they join the likes of course, Earl Hebner, Sting, Jeff Jarrett. I talked about Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, which I believe was last year's inductee was actually Raven. So congratulations to these three. Welcome to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. And as we honor and talk about legacy, let's go ahead and forge forward towards creating history, as we'll see who truly is bound for glory. Let's get right into this card. Let's go ahead and first talk about the Impact World Tag Team Championship match, as Toledo's own Trey Miguel and fellow Rascals Zachary Wentz. The Rascals will finally defend the gold, no questions asked, against the ABC. And again, the ABC, of course, comprised of two former X-Division champions, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Happy Saturday in advance, folks. So I like this match because, again, it's generational tag teams here. These two tag teams are following legacy set by the likes of course, the Morrissey Machine Guns, which are the most influential, impactful tag team of all time. But it's also one of those things where Chris Bay and Ace Austin, they've already been there. And we've seen Trey Miguel, he owned the X Division 3 different times over. Now he's made his mark on the tag team division. We've seen how the Rascals, though, have won every match with some sort of freaking shenanigans. But now we know, again, all the collusion put to the side. There's no more conspiracy theory, Jesse Ventura. It's just these four men doing it out to see who truly is the better tag team. So what's your thoughts on this tag team title match, Jared, when it comes to these four men?
Okay, well, first off, it should be a ladder match. That's the first thing I saw about this match is the fact that I'm like, why is there not ladders involved? But yeah, either way, it's going to be a highly athletic match. I'm really looking forward to this one. It could easily be a show stealer very early into the pay-per-view, but I could honestly say the Rascals are probably going to retain. Not because ABC doesn't deserve it, because Bay and Ace Austin are just awesome. They're fantastic. They're great as single stars and they're great as a tag team. But Rascals are just really coming back. They're just now getting a good decent heel run in. Right. So I'm also thinking this may be when we get Wes Lee back. He disappeared off of NXT television after that last loss. It's been over a month, and NXT contracts, they only have the 30-day non-compete, as we learned from Aleister Black going over to AEW. And he did that very quietly. So it wouldn't shock me if he just threw away all of his NXT gear on that last show, walked out, and it wouldn't shock me if we see it back in Impact and helping them win the match against ABC that night.
And the Treehouse is once again reformed in full with this trio ruling the tag team division. Maybe ABC need to invest in ABCD or something like that. Yeah, it's one of those things where, again, the Rascals, of course, they literally stole these titles, but they have held them up. They've beaten the Morrissey Machine Guns at Victory Road. We saw what happened since Slammiversary. And I do think right now the Rascals, they seem to always have a plan. So I do think the match does more so favor them. And it's also another one of those things where in Impact Wrestling, 9 out of 10 matches could truly go either way, and it still makes sense in context. The whole Wes Lee angle that you're referring to makes absolutely perfect sense, as he literally left with his lady, and you literally beat JJ Williams to the punch. So, and stay tuned, folks, for me and the Renegade on Sleepy Ditting later today as a co-joint produced forum here on YouTube, Precision Predicting. Hi, guys, Ace Studios. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Again, we talk about tag team wrestling. We talk about the Morrissey Machine Guns. We talk about Team 3D. We talk about beer money. Man, I miss that freaking team. But I digress. The America's most...
You were glorious.
Yeah. The Hardy. Damn it, Jerry! Well, he's a producer now. And freaking Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa brought the Glorious Bomb back one more time, which really warmed my heart.
No, that actually made me tear up a little bit. I was happy about that.
And he smiled. Bobby Roode smiled. But I digress. But yeah, I am leaning more right now towards the champions retaining, because at the end of the day, they always find a way to win. And I do think Ace Austin should be at some point the Impact World Champion. He's already had a previous chance at it. I think it's a note he could be one of the youngest, if not the youngest, Impact World Champion to happen. What happens with Chris Bay, though, I don't know at this point. Just saying. But they are a phenomenal tag team.
That's something else that the ABC can really that's the route they could actually take with this, is have them lose, but then be like, okay, well, we saw what happened with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, one of the greatest tag teams in this company. They're still a great tag team, but they're doing their singles runs. Maybe we should try that again. And then that's when they take a little break from tag teaming and they both go for respective titles, whether it be the X Division, or they could just be both going after a world championship. We don't know. But exactly. I don't think Ace Austin's gotten it yet. He's come close a couple times, but hasn't really won the belt. So that would be an interesting dynamic for him to be the one that actually unseats whoever the champion is at that point. So
exactly. And again, Chris Bay, he previously challenged with Swan for the Impact World Championship. Both men have had opportunities for the world title. Came up close. Ace Austin has had more opportunities though than Chris Bay, and many people think Ace Austin is inevitably going to be Impact World Champion. I think at one point Ace Austin even said he wants to be the youngest Impact World Champion in this company's history. There's very good reason why a lot of people compare Ace Austin to a young, phenomenal AJ Styles. And AJ Styles got his start in the X division, and of course became a TNA and Impact World Champion down the line. So it's not too far.
Well, I was going to say he is following the same trajectory, so it would be great.
Exactly. But I guess only time will tell. Well, from a match that's going to be absolutely great in quality, that could be a show stealer, to the most obscure, wild, nonsensical, chaotic, ridiculous, violent fatal four-way situation we're going to have this weekend. Monsters Ball is back once again. Click. Doomsday. No Fathers J. Mitchell. Shout out to Abyss. As we will have PCO, Rhino, Steve Macklin, and Moose. And might I add, Moose has a guaranteed shot at the Impact World Championship no matter what this match's outcome. PCO, you cannot kill what will die. Rhino has gored Steve Macklin every possible week, except for this past Thursday on Impact. And it's a fatal four-way. These four men are going to be trapped in the dark 24 hours, no food, no water, no sunlight. It's going to be absolute madness. Although Steve Macklin is probably more used to that, considering he is a former military vet. Respect, thank you for your service. Jerry, what the hell is about to happen here?
Chicago's going to crumble is what's going to happen. That's going to be an insanely great match. Just hardcore specialists, more or less. Like Moose, is more, just brute strength and everything. But when tables anything else gets involved, he's just a force to be reckoned with as well. So he's actually going to be my pick for this match. Also, for the fact that over the past couple of years, he's actually become kind of Mr. Impact, Mr. TNA, because he plans on retiring there, which is huge because he really hasn't been anywhere else, I think, except for Ring of Honor for a short spell.
Yep.
But that's awesome for him just to automatically say, it's like, yeah, this is my home. I'm not going anywhere. This is where I'm going to be at. So for what better place than for Bound for Glory to give him this huge spotlight and, show their appreciation to him by giving him this awesome win and an extremely awesome and physical match. So I'm going to go with Moose on this one.
Well, I mean, again, the follow with Rhino and Steve Macklin, they're going to try and literally gore or spear each other into oblivion. PCO is going to throw caution to the wind as he always do and try to break his spine because he's not human. And Moose, at the end of the day, it's almost like he doesn't need the win because he has that guaranteed Impact World Championship match, but Moose wants to prove why he is the best, like you said, Impact Wrestling. And we've seen how he literally has led this company and the younger talent. He's had standout matches against the likes of Kevin Knight, for Pete's sake, on freaking TV. He truly is one of the best all-around pure athletes in the Impact Wrestling roster. And it's really incredible to see. And the fact he wants to stay 100% committed to this company, it does tell me they want to keep, the momentum going with him. But in Monsters Ball, do you really need momentum or do you just need to survive? I mean, the last time he was involved in Monsters Ball was literally Slammiversary against Sami Callihan, and he lost, but he was the guy that was talked about that night because of his performance. Because Sami Callihan, we know how crazy the madman is.
In Monsters Ball, it's not really so much about momentum or anything. It's just about finding your spot and taking it.
Exactly.
And that's the other reason why I'm picking with Moose, because he's a very good opportunist when it comes to these types of matches and these types of 3 or 4-way or triple threat type scenarios. He knows where to strike, how to strike, and the people's weaknesses. That's the biggest thing you ever have for a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah, and of course, PCO has past history with Steve Macklin, and whether or not he even remembers what happened there when he got his face planted in cinder blocks, it's a whole different conversation. People weren't even sure if PCO was going to even be still going with the company, but I think someone said that he resigned. And the fact that we're talking about PCO in 2023, that's already bizarre enough as it is, despite the fact you got an ECW original here also. This is just a weird mix. All right.
Yeah. It's a great mix though. It's like a trail mix. You see all these raisins and M&Ms and all these different kind of nuts in here, and you're like, this isn't going to be good at all. And then you take a handful of it, you're like, okay, this is tasty. This is great. This is sweet.
Yeah, it's an instant classic of a snack, and I'm sure this will be a very unique Monsters Ball match. I don't know if it's going to be up there with
High on
matches I've seen in
protein.
the past. But that I do agree with, but I don't think they're going to use a piece of meat, but I definitely could see a kitchen sink. But I think for me, just because of right now, where I see everything right now, and Steve Maglin was supposed to originally have that briefcase, and Rhino cost him. You want to talk about guys that capitalize the multi-person environment. Steve Maglin is one of those that have always done that. Not only has he outlasted JY and Chris Sabin at Triple Threat, he previously won Barbed Wire Massacre against Sami Callihan and Moose. So I think Steve Macklin right here could be your sleeper agent, Snake, that could win this. So I'm actually going with Steve Macklin here. Tag and bag and mayhem for all, especially after what happened this past Thursday with him and Bully Ray intercepting him from taking out Rhino, which I still don't get at this point.
He's going to be my second pick, but I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt for Moose this time. I think Macklin is going to win the title here soon, in spite of himself. Like, it doesn't really matter. They want to put the title on Macklin. It's just a matter of getting him to it. Exactly. So basically, if we get Josh Alexander winning the main event, maybe he'll still find a way of worming his way into that and actually getting the title. Maybe he somehow beats Moose for a briefcase at some point, like just challenges him for it. We don't know. So.
The beauty of Impact Wrestling. It is not that damn predictable.
Yeah,
what a wild concept.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, right? Well, you talked about the Morrissey Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, of course, and Josh Alexander. Let's go ahead and talk about the other half as the 10-time X Division champion. Hail Sabin! Chris Sabin will defend the X Division title against, I cannot believe this is happening.
Oh my God.
This is a first time ever one-on-one match. And of course, we have seen Kenta involved previously in Impact Wrestling on behalf of ABC, beating Time Machine. I believe Kenta is still a Defy Wrestling champion, by the way. Of course, the guy that put Pro Wrestling Noah on the map, every title imaginable. And of course, a former Never Overweight champion. Chris Sabin, record time 10-time X Division champion. If anyone defined the X Division besides AJ Styles would have the title first, it's Chris Sabin, period, point blank. This is going to be incredible. I don't even know how to even think about this match. But considering right now, Kenta kind of doesn't have a direction even in New Japan Pro Wrestling now that I look at the landscape there with the fact that Super Junior Tag League is going on. And we've also seen Chris Sabin have short defenses, long defense. I mean, hell, he wins 0D against Leo Rush, then won it back at Impact 1000, forever that's worth. And Leo Rush get well soon. I guess he's out with illness or injury, not sure. He wasn't involved at Distraction Ryu Goku, which kind of annoyed me. I honestly do wonder if Leo Rush maybe wants this title back. And again, Kenta's going to do whatever the hell Kenta wants at the end of the day. But also we're in Chicago, so I do wonder, Jerry, is Kenta going to make Chris Sabin GTS? Or once again, will we hail Sabin and still see him holding this title? This is one of those sleeper matches of the night, to say the least.
I don't see Kenta winning the belt. I have to kind of I was trying to suspend my disbelief about it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, he could win it, then he could hot potato it to somebody else, and they bring it back to Impact, and that just seems like it's a big mess at this point. And I think I'd rather see it like actually put on somebody who's actually part of the Impact roster,
right,
instead of it being defended elsewhere and like just pretty much losing its place here, because it's pretty much like the mid-card title, and it's the best mid-card title, I think, in wrestling at this point. Because the fact that there are no limits to it. Like, you got your cruiserweights, you got your bigger men that can win it too. It doesn't really matter. It's just it's got a fantastic lineage. And it's just now getting restored through the likes of, like, you know, Chris Sabin and, like, these previous champions. Trey Miguel had an awesome run with that belt. And it actually propelled him into, you know, just another tag team championship. So that's pretty great. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Chris Sabin is going to retain. And I want to see it done like in a really cool way. Like maybe he somehow reverses the GTS into like the Cradle Shock, which is, I'm throwing it in my head and it's possible, but it'll have to be very quick.
Yeah, I'm about to say you gotta roll Kenta through basically,
yeah,
and then pick him up to plant him down the mat.
He'll do that like once or twice in order to keep Kenta down, but it takes only one move for Kenta to put people to sleep. It's going to take a lot more moves for them to put Kenta to sleep.
True that. I think people are just waiting for a GTS in Chicago. But I also looking at this as well. We are at
I can already hear the CM Punk chant. Oh
yeah,
my god!
yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't want Kenta to be like CM Punk. That's why he does it. That'd just be priceless. I also think about this though. We're at Bound for Glory. You know what's coming up pretty soon here, Jerry. You know the option is there. Option C. Let's not forget, it was Frankie Kazarian last year at Bound for Glory that beats People Might Be and his incredible run, and he immediately cashed in Option C for Overdrive to challenge for the Impact World Championship. People have been clamoring, wondering, could we see an all guns World Championship match? I know we'll talk about that more, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing. But again, Chris Sabin, 10-time X Division champion, he has defined the X Division. He really doesn't owe it anything else. I think he is owed a chance to show what he couldn't do, though, as Impact World Champion, because a lot of people forgot that cup of coffee when he was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion during the SNH era. Just saying. And Kenta, he also is one that is an opportunist. He waited a long time to cash in that U.S. briefcase to challenge Jon Moxley, even though he came up short. And why it would be bizarre, weirder things have happened in Impact Wrestling. Kenta's previously challenged Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship, and Josh Alexander's in the main event. So it's one of those things where this match, I think, defines a future challenger for the Impact World Championship, besides the fact that Moose can call a shot at any time. And I don't think Moose is going to argue, because at the end of the day, Moose, he has the biggest advantage. He can come in anytime, most vulnerable, and boom, win just like he did at Bound for Glory a couple of years ago at the expense of Josh Alexander's family. And he literally caught his shot during that time. He just has a briefcase now, which is even more powerful. So it's one of those things right now where I do think on paper it should go to Chris Sabin, because I do think at some point we need to see Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley for the Impact World Championship. We've already seen them one-on-one, and we saw who won that match. And at the end of the day, I still don't think it's so who the better gun is, if we're being perfectly honest. But yeah, I do think that Chris Sabin's going to retain. But this is going to be a fun match, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Kenta's awesome.
All of these matches are going to be fun in some way, shape, or form at this point. So,
including this one. Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and let your imagination run wild and tell me why Johnny Swinger, just for Datilla's sake, might literally win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Because we got a Call Your Shot Gauntlet with 20 men, and thanks to Wrestling Commons, we know at least 13 of them, thanks to Impact Wrestling. We will see Brian Myers, Eric Young, Dirty Dangle, who, by the way, is number 20. Bully Ray, Jake Something, who is number 1. Can he run the field? Jordan Graves, Joe Hendrick, Frankie Kazarian, Kylan King, Kenny King, good grief, 2 Kings. Jody Frett, Giselle Shaw, and Eddie Edwards. That's 13 of the sole professed 20. If Simon Miller shows up, I'm going to mark out. Just saying. But that being said, we know the Call Your Shot Gauntlet's history. Eddie Edwards has won it. Moose has won it. Moose called his shot the same night, as I said, and literally won the Impact World Championship. Eddie Edwards, of course, had a chance. He fell short. It's one of those things where it doesn't have the strongest percentage, but it still yields an ultimate opportunity. So that being said, as we usually do in fields of more than 8, if we're being perfectly honest, let's just rattle our minds and talk about this a little bit and maybe think about 2 key picks that we think could win this. Again, you can talk about everybody in Impact that has had a chance at the Impact World Championship or a championship, because call your shot means you call your shot for any title at any time against anyone. Joe Henry, former Digital Media champion. Kylan King, former Knockouts Tag Team champion, but hell, the mother effing King. She rolls solo. I want to see her go after that Knockouts World title, but I digress. Eric Young, former world champion. Dirty Dangle. Why is he here? Frank Kazarian still yet to win the damn big one, and I'm annoyed by it. And Giselle Shaw, the future Knockouts World champion. There I said, how many times she made event in Impact Wrestling and has standout matches for the title, not for the title, or against the Knockouts. Just saying. And Jordan Graves might literally pull a Tessa Blanchard at this point, I think, and go after the Impact World Championship. She's already made history every other way possible. And that's just a few of my thoughts about saying 8 picks. But, Jerry, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, ever since it's been kind of called this since, 2000 and I think literally, 18 when they called it actually this, instead of the Gauntlet for Gold, because I recently saw Bound for Glory 2015. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Like, do you have anybody that you think deserves a shot at a key title that's not a world title? Like, what's your mind thinking? Again, this is literally a who's who. This is a trail mix of whatever. Pick out one piece and see if it's the best piece. I don't know. But what's your thoughts?
I honestly think if I had to choose anybody to win that right now, especially out of that list that you just posted on the screen, I think it'll probably end up being Jake something. Like he seems like he's been like they've been pushing him like nice and smoothly, and the fact that like he's got the right build, he's got the right features, he's got the right presence in the ring that he could be like in any of those matches, short of knockouts. And he could be a viable opponent for anybody, but also it seems like it'd be still kind of an underdog story because this is a guy who literally is trying to make a name for himself in the company for like years now. Like it'd be just really cool for like just for him to come out of nothing and to become Jake something and be champion. So
be everything.
And the fact that we wouldn't know if he's challenging for the X Division belt or if he find a tag partner or if he find like a world, go for the world championship. I'd be happy with any of those things because it'd be an interesting build because you never really know. Like Impact has this way of surprising us and putting the belt on Jake something out of nowhere. That'd be something.
Yeah, about to say that'd be something. And to be fair, Jake something has yet to hold a title in Impact Wrestling. He's
exactly
challenged for the X Division Championship. He hung with Sonata with a non-title contest for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, verbatim if you want to call it that. And he's proved that he can fly like a cruiserweight, so he definitely is X Division material. He's also hung with Josh Alexander. And it wasn't even for the friggin' world championship.
Anybody that says he's too big for the X Division, I just either point at Samoa Joe or
thank you.
Or Abyss.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. And then
X Division means no limits.
Yeah, well, do you think it's no limit possible that CM Punk could show up during this thing?
No.
It'd be so random. I mean, Bully Ray, he's formerly involved in TNA, so him showing up last year kind of made sense to a degree. And I'll be honest, since Bully Ray's been part of Impact the last year, it definitely has brought more attention to Impact Wrestling. I will admit it. So it's one of those things where, again, it's a who's who. And by the way, 13 names official known, folks. Thanks to Wrestling Comments for that. There's still 7 unknowns. Simon Miller's going to face Joe Hendry at Turning Point. Yes. So I can see Simon Miller coming in and just try to screw Joe Hendry. Maybe Johnny Swinger, the guy that somehow still exists 2023, he'll likely be involved.
I think he'll be reserved for NWA TNA / Impact alumni. Pretty much like those surprise entrants that they want to just pepper in.
The Shark Boy.
If Shark Boy shows up, I'm gonna mark out like crazy. Are you kidding?
James Storm. Oh man, who knows? Who freaking
ran out of time at one like a point because he showed up at one.
Okay, we need Shark Boy and Curry Man face to face. There, I said it.
Grant, Shark Boy won't win, but if he shows up, we're popping huge.
I'll be popping huge on screen. I'm just saying. Oh my gosh. And to be fair, yeah, you're right. Punk is an alumni, so I mean, to be told again, never say never is the theme of 2023.
I sometimes forget about the gathering. I forget about Julio De Niro. I forget about it just happens. But
again, this company's been around for 21 years, and people thought it wouldn't.
I think what's going on at this point, though, the reason I don't think Punk will show up is his stock has risen so high in wrestling, even if he's considered poison or a cancer in the companies, I think he'd still be asking for more than what they could actually offer him at Impact Wrestling at this point.
I almost wonder if CM Punk were to show up, would he put the wallet behind him just to be part of the business? Because I think CM Punk sometimes loves the business more than the money. Because
don't get me wrong, it'd be a great step for him to go to Impact to show it's not about the money, it's about the competition again. And that'd be fantastic. But at the same time, we're so close to Survivor Series where he's not showing up. So
just saying. Again, JJ, fair point. It's a fair point. Just saying.
Oh, don't get me wrong. CM Punk showing up, winning that gauntlet, and then challenging either Alex Shelley or Josh Alexander, both would be banger of matches. So I that'd be really cool to see. But this is also Punk like 20 years later compared to Punk 20 years ago. So
hear that. I mean, I've been waiting for Punk versus Kenta. Just saying, the whole GTS versus GTS, and Punk doesn't need the money. Plus, what's your peace of mind and creative freedom worth to you? Now that is definitely a fair point because at the end of the day, if you go to WWE, you know you're scrutinized. So, but I will say it seems to be a better environment under Triple H, somewhat. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I want to see Jake something run the gauntlet because since coming back to Impact Wrestling, he really has been a focal point of all the television, and he's at this whole storyline right now. I could literally see this coming down to Jake something and Dirty Dangle, and I would love to see Jake something actually win something. He's already proven so much. He needs to win something for Pete's sake. So I think I will go with Jake something here. And as far as the other ones, though, Jordan Grayson, I know she just resigned. Jonathan Gresham also might be another one that might show up in here.
They're really pushing Kylie King too, but at the same time, made it a little too soon for her to win anything like that. Like because like she'll have unfinished business with Taylor Wilde first. So
you think Taylor Wilde might show up and get revenge against Kylie King?
Yeah, that's what's going to cost her the match. Like,
damn it.
Jordan Grace is a good possibility too, especially if they're trying to kind of erase any kind of relevance that Tessa Blanchard had, being the only like women's world champion for the company. It'd be interesting for her to like win it, and, like people are automatically they won't automatically assume she's going for a knockouts belt anymore. Like she's won the digital media belt, so it'd be cool for her to either challenge for the X Division title or the world title. Would she be the first ever women's X Division champion?
Yeah, she would be actually, because the woman never held the X Division title. So it's one of those.
That'd be interesting. That'd be nuts. I don't think there's been a women's X Division champion.
Yeah, it's just like old days. Technical difficulties, right?
What's that?
Doggone dog. All right.
Oh, all right.
No, you're good. You wouldn't be a video without technical difficulties, right? But yeah, the fact that everybody here kind of has a case to win this and call their shot is a very beautiful thing. It makes it feel much more dynamic. Again, I've been saying for the longest time, Michelle Shaw's an uncrowned knockouts world champion. Bergazarian, legacy not firm until he wins the world championship. Joe Hendry, I believe in Joe Hendry. He should go for more than just the digital media championship. And Eric Young came back.
Versus Simon Miller. What is wrestling anymore?
I don't know, damn it. I love it. Simon Miller. Why? Please, Simon Miller, show up. I need an ups and
bet that match
match.
gets it up.
I need an ups and downs match. Simon Miller versus Joe Hendry. If you watch the Fight at Wrestling, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is gonna be fun to see. But yeah, I think right now I'm leaning towards Jake something more than anybody else. And as far as the other one, throw a dart, pick a name. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Like you said, it could easily be one of those people that aren't even listed on there. So
exactly. All right.
Like basically, one of the guys from the Monsters Ball match could easily like interject themselves right afterwards and when to call your shot battle royal.
You know what? That's absolutely fair. We didn't think about that. Previous matches, the participants could get involved too. The losing team, for example, Kenta might literally come in just for the hell of it and cause chaos. So I mean,
so somebody's coming down to the ring, like that's kind of like a no-name jobber or something. Like Moose comes out there, just destroys them, and just like takes their place in the match. Who's going to stop them? Nobody.
Yeah, I got nobody. But let me ask you this perfectly honest question as we transition from that. Hello, Jerry. You want to play a game with MK Ultra? Live or die, Beyond Peraza, Tasha Steeles. Oh, baby. MK Ultra, the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich defend the Knockouts World Tag Team gold against the former Knockouts World Tag Team champions in their own right. VXT's half, the Virtuosa, Diana Peraza, And of course, Fire and Flavor. You're looking at the Flavor, Tasha Steelz. Two former Knockouts World Champions brought together out of respect, and two legit killers.
Can they coexist?
Damn it! It's one of those things where I'm not sure, because I look at the Virtuosa. She is the personification of technical excellence, and she is world championship material. But she's already been to the summit 3 times, and she just fell short again against Trinity, and her rival finally beat her. So maybe this is just a different direction for now, just a different dynamic. But then again, MK Ultra, they're the best women's tag team right now, not named the inspiration in the industry. There, I said it. I am just going to have fun watching Killer Kelly choke and kick the life out of Tasha Steelz. But I am curious how Masha Slim and Dion Peraza renewed their hostilities, considering it was Masha Slim and Dion Peraza that brought Masha Impact Wrestling in the first place. Jerry, this is women's tag team wrestling, as we always say. This is the premier women's division in the industry. What's your thoughts on this Knockouts tag title contest?
MK Ultra is just a wonderful, wonderful team. Seriously, I love Killer Kelly to death, and Masha Slamovich has really won me over the past couple of years. Not just for her work here, but pretty much a Game Changer Wrestling and every place else she stops at. She dominates, and she is such a hybrid wrestler that's there's never a boring match with her.
No. And she can wrestle anybody under any match. She just got done recently wrestling Rina Yamashita in a death match in Japan, and that was like a dream come true for her, because she finally got to wrestle in Corgan.
You put her in any situation, she's going to do awesome. And her and Killer Kelly have such great chemistry to them.
They really
do. I want them to stay champions. I want them to stay champions forever. I really do. So it's unless the Iconics come out of retirement and actually challenge them for the belts, I don't want to see them lose them. So I'm going to go with MK Ultra to win this match.
Do not put that fun out of the ether. Do not make me choose between the inspiration and MK Ultra. How dare you? All right, how dare you? But yeah, Killer Kelly for me, since overcoming all of her struggles that she even talked about, coming back to the industry, no words, just a sinister smile. It's so damn fucking beautiful to see. And Masha Slamovich, her and Supremo My Boy are once again trying to outwork each other. I have no idea who right now has done more matches, but they're both effing insane. It's one of those things right now where I never thought I would see Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly as a tag team dynamic, but I do know that Masha and Killer Kelly did have a one-on-one match prior to Killer Kelly's indefinite hiatus. And that dog collar match that literally brought them together, forced in combat. How about that hot shit? Quite literally. It's one of those things where I didn't know.
Sorry, I kind of lost myself there. What?
What? All right, I was saying something. I did not realize how badly I needed this Knockouts tag team in my life. And the entrance alone, the ambience of these two. And like you said, it's a perfect combination. Masha Slamovich is such a hybrid athlete. And of course, Killer Kelly, former student of Walter, ring comp, WXW Women's Champion, LO. She's one of the most lethal strikers and grapplers in the game. So It's one of those things where the sum of the parts versus parts of the sum. There is a better sum in MK Ultra versus Dion Peraza and Tasha Steelz. It almost feels like for me this is filler for Deanna, and I do wonder, is it just one of those things where she's right now just buying out her time? We know her contract's coming up next year, and she's already done everything 3 times over in Impact Wrestling, but she's also been pretty much defined by Impact Wrestling to the point she was once AAA and Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Has she even been part of AEW? It's one of those things where I don't know what the future holds for Deanna, and Tasha's here. But
even if they granted, I can see the case of putting the belt on Tasha Steelz and Dion Peraza, since Dion Peraza hasn't had the Knockouts Tag Team Championship.
Not for a while.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's one of those situations where I think both those two are going to be making bids again for the Knockouts Women's Championship. And if that's the case, we'll see a triple threat match with them and whoever comes out on top in the championship tonight. So, or, during the pay-per-view. So
and also, of course, Deanna and Tasha, they have a history with one half, particularly of that Knockouts for Championship match, to your point. For me right now, though, you can't find a better combo than Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich. And by the way, shout out to one half of the inspiration, Cassie Lee, who did win a championship down under in WSW, and Jessica McKay, of course. All these wrestlers becoming mothers. Beautiful thing. Congrats to her. Anyway, no one may get his wish. Don't. Okay.
Don't give him hope.
I might have to go to that live if that's the case. I don't care. And hello, everything pro wrestling. And again, congrats to Cassidy and the chairman, Sean Spears. But yeah, MK Ultra for the win. You don't bet against MK Ultra. Live or die. Tasha Steele. Just don't hurt the Virtuosa. All right. Let's go ahead and move on from.
That would be iconic.
Damn it. We're leaving you to elevate something far beyond my scope of vocabulary. So why don't you go ahead and elevate this dream match of sorts?
Oh my God.
From WrestleMania weekend, it's finally happening one-on-one. The Billy Goat, Will Ospreay, taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. First time ever one-on-one encounter. Will Ospreay, what the hell can you not say about this guy's 2023 later half lately? And Speedball Mike Bailey, again, one of the hardest working men in the industry, coming off some great momentum. A bit of up and down forces, though, after falling short for the IWGP Junior Championship against Yo and Hiromu Takahashi. And he's still buying multiple for a one-on-one match against the Ticking Time Bomb. Hiromu, give the man what he wants. Will Ospreay, though, already has beaten Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kenny by God Omega, Chris Jericho, and most recently, Yota Tsuji and Zack Sabre Jr. If you did not watch that World Class 3 main event, I will give you NW World information, Jerry. You can go watch it yourself. It's almost a foregone conclusion, right? That Will Ospreay's going to win. He is right now the most predominant wrestler this year. There, I said it. But Speedball Mike Bailey, this would be huge for him in a shock factor. And again, weirder things have happened. It's the first time ever one-on-one encounter. These two are going to elevate the wrestling landscape and challenge everybody. I feel bad for anybody that follows this. Follow this shit. Jerry, you're flossing this first time ever singles match. My God.
Remember how I said earlier that ABC and Rascals are probably end up stealing the show?
Yes.
They're going to steal the show, and then they're going to be running, and then this match going to clothesline them and take the show from them.
Right.
So,
oh my God,
we've already established, Will Ospreay's probably going to win this match, but he's not going to, he is not going to win easily at all.
Oh,
this is going to be highly physical, high flying, a lot of kicks, lots and lots of kicks.
I think Speedball is the better striker in that game, but Will Ospreay's got a bullhammer elbow that can knock you in the next week.
I think there'll be a show of respect at the end, actually, from Ospreay, but at the same time, this is going to elevate Mike Bailey even harder into, the stratosphere that is, probably the title picture again. He has been kind of absent from it, but at the same time, he's been still putting on banger of matches. So maybe this will be his reintroduction into the title scene, but at the same time, what better way to be ushered in than, to lose to, hands down, probably one of the top 3 or 4 wrestlers in the world. So that's huge. Beyond huge.
Yeah, and again, Will Ospreay, he's already wrestled in AEW. He wrestled still for NJPW. He wrestled in Rev Pro. He wrestled Pro Wrestling Noah. He wrestled his hero, Marufuji, in Pro Wrestling Noah. He's beaten everybody that's been put in front of him since that loss this year at Wrestle Kingdom. It's been nothing but upward momentum for him. And it seems there's no stopping him. I wonder if he's going to come up with the IWGP United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship, by the way, too. And Speedball, it looks like he wants to do more work with New Japan because he wants Hiromu Takahashi Ticking Time Bomb one-on-one. If Impact does not book that match one-on-one for Wrestle Kingdom, they missed the boat on that one. But yeah, you don't bet right now against Will Ospreay. But if Speedball Mike Bailey can go 59 minutes with Josh Alexander on TV for the Impact World Championship, what the hell lengths are these two high-velocity athletes going to do in maybe 30 minutes, if not slightly more, on pay-per-view?
Mike Bailey is pretty much, he's almost like Shelton Benjamin was in WWE. You can always put him in an awesome match. He's going to do a phenomenal job every time, but that big brass ring is seemingly always out, just out of his reach. But I think Scott D'Amore sees a lot in Speedball Mike Bailey, especially putting him in a match with Will Ospreay. So there's not many other wrestlers on that roster that you'd be like, okay, we're gonna put him against Will Ospreay. He's gonna have a banger of a match. We we have Speedball Mike Bailey. We had a couple other guys, but Bailey just matches everything that Ospreay's doing right now, style wise, and just just aura. And the match is just gonna blow the roof off the place. It really is.
And of course, Will Ospreay.
I literally pity anyone that's going to be going on after this match because they are going to be exhausted. The fans are going to be exhausted.
Yeah, this is when you bring the Monsters Ball or the Call Your Shot in just to, lull and stuff like that. And then find a moment to bring the fans in, like this person came out or this person used this weapon, a cheese grater. Kazane Studios here a question. What does Ospreay or Impact gain by Ospreay winning this match? I feel like unless Ospreay is going to sign to Impact, there's no reason for him to win. Well, Ospreay will be involved a little bit longer in Impact Wrestling Fallout. I don't necessarily it's about signing, but it's about showcasing. And I think that's really what this is about. It's a showcase match. It's all about that inner promotional warfare. And Will Ospreay will wrestle Eddie Edwards for the first time ever at Turning Point. So again, there is a little bit more than meets the eye. This is not a one-off for Will Ospreay and Impact Wrestling, JJ.
Conversely, let's look at this real quick. Are we really against the draw? Like time limit draw?
No, I'm not against that at all. No. But
because then you have Mike Bailey who says he didn't lose to Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay saying Mike Bailey didn't beat him, and then you have a whole other ready-made feud right there.
Build a match for, Power Struggle. It's going to be Will Ospreay versus Shota Umino for the IWGP United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship. So maybe, I know they're going to do a crossover special. Either way, I think Speedball Mike Bailey needs to be involved at Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe this is the Wrestle Kingdom match. And again,
there you go. Run it back at Wrestle Kingdom. Holy
Will
crap.
Ospreay's contract expires next year in February. We have no idea what he's going to do. So again, what do you put up against this man at Wrestle Kingdom? Title or no title. At the end of the day, he still is IWGP United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship. And he said until somebody beats him for that title, you cannot call yourself the best in the world. I am the best. I hold that measuring stick. Surpass me if you can. And so far, like I said, Zack Sabre Jr. couldn't even do it. And that's what his greatest rival. Now we know who the best in British wrestling is. So, yeah, again, JJ, I think this is more than just a one-off for Will Ospreay and Impact. I think for the first time in a long time, Impact Wrestling is going to be involved next year at Wrestle Kingdom with how much Impact and NJPW particularly have been working off each other. I really do. And I think
it's also everybody knows the name Will Ospreay at this point,
right?
And that's going to put eyes on Speedball Mike Bailey, and that's what Impact has to gain from Ospreay being there. Even if he wins the match, they're going to want to see his match against this guy Speedball Mike Bailey. They're going to see how special Mike Bailey is, and that's what's going. That's what the whole purpose of this match is.
Yeah, this is just a match that's just special for professional wrestling. Damn it. Point blank simple. I cannot wait for this. Well, you talked about what might follow again. I just put the cards in random order because I'm just like, this match is crazy. This match is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
This match is crazy. And I mean, I think it's safe to say, like you talked about, this match is going to have a domino effect based on what happens in the Knockouts World Tag Team title match, or if a knockout gets to call their shot. I've been saying it for the longest time. Michelle Shaw is an uncrowned Knockouts World Champion. She's faced both these athletes. Tasha Steelz has beaten the best, Mickie James. Deonna Purrazzo has yet to beat Mickie James. And now these former two WWE superstars are going one-on-one for the richest prize in the Knockouts division. As the Knockouts World Championship is on the line, as Trinity defends the gold and shows her glow against Hardcore Country Mickie James, leading to become a six-time, just short of Gail Kim, six-time Knockouts World Champion. And we thought she basically said adios when she dropped that title, that hat, and that mic in the ring. Again, she never lost it. She relinquished it. She survived her last rodeo, but apparently this isn't her last ride. Or is it, considering who's on SmackDown now? Jay, your thoughts on this one-on-one match? And again, do you see somebody calling their shot? Or as you alluded to, do we set up the triple threat maybe with Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz against one of these two? What's the future of the Knockouts World Championship? Or Mickie James, particularly for that matter.
Trinity is by no means a transitional champion. She's had her title defenses. She's done just fine with the belt. But as trite and as horrible as this is going to sound, Mickey James has a story to finish. So
you're not wrong.
I think where we're gonna get here is Mickey James winning the belt, and shortly thereafter that, especially if Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo don't win the knockouts titles, which I don't think they're going to, they'll both be making a bid for Mickey James, like to go against Mickey James, and we're gonna have like Tasha Steelz versus Deonna Purrazzo for a number one contender, and then from there that's gonna become that match, and we're gonna get Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickey James one more time. So, and what if Mickey loses in that one? That's when she retires. That's when she leaves and passes the torch to Deonna Purrazzo. And that just sounds very fitting to me, and the ending that we should have gotten before Mickey James had gotten injured. So
exactly,
I wish Trinity all the best. I think she's going to do more stuff for Impact and do great for the company as long as she stays there. So, you know what? That's the way I see it happening.
I mean, again, Mickey James, she previously won the title at Bronco Glory. She beat the Virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo. To your point, this story is still not finished. Deonna Purrazzo, Mickey James, first time for the Knockouts World Championship. Deonna came in as champion, lost it to Mickey James, had a chance at Hard to Kill in a friggin' Texas death match and fell short. And Mickey James came in with the Knockouts World Championship at the Royal Rumble. They have not met each other since that day in one-on-one action. It is the one win in the Virtuoso's illustrious Knockouts career that has eluded her. She's the only knockout, besides Trinity at this point, that she hasn't beaten. But the longer story is Hardcore Country and the Virtuosa. It's literally the first generational rivalry versus the generational rivalry of Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo that finally closed when Jordan Grace finally beat the Virtuosa once, 4-1. Just put that out there. For me, though, again, I think about what is Deonna's last match. It's applicable. It's against Mickey James because he either gets that win or she doesn't. Then we see where that goes. I don't want to, put a shadow over Trinity's glow, but Trinity has had a great run, a great moment. But I look at the bigger marquee match. I look at the bigger story. I don't think there's a bigger story in the Knockouts division than the Virtuoso and Mickey James. Then again, call your shot, can throw a monkey wrench in that. Like I said, to show shot, she could come in and get the title from Trinity or Mickey James. Freaking Jordan Grace, she now wants to be the face of the Knockouts division. You can't be the face unless you literally have the title. She could call her shot and she could beat literally Trinity for the title. Since Trinity and Jordan Grace have not faced each other one-on-one yet. And Jordan Grace, Mickey James, mutual respect for one another. I honestly wonder if Mickey James is going to have heelish tendencies with how bad she's going to want this title. Up to this point, yeah, it's been mutually respectful, but we saw what happened on Impact Wrestling this past Thursday when Mickey and Trinity looked at the title, smiled, and then subtle smile going away. At the end of the day, the richest prize at the epic center of your friendship. Friendship goes out the window when that bell freaking rings, all right? Put up or shut up time.
Okay, let me ask you this, Noah.
Go ahead.
What would you consider for like or what would you think of maybe like a 6-way Ultimate X match for number one contendership if Mickey James wins the belt?
It would have been the first time, and considering you just brought up the way Tasha Steelz got her chance at the title and beat Mickey James for it.
Yeah.
Again, there's that history.
Great callback.
Yeah, exactly. There's only been one Knockouts Ultimate X match in this company's history, and Tasha Steelz won it.
Yeah.
Of course, Jordan Grace won.
It held it for a lot longer than I would have given her credit for.
I gotta be honest, I was really shocked too, even with the heater, Savannah Evans, which is another sleeping factor of this Knockouts division.
Not taking anything away from her, but the competition that she had at that point was just insane.
Right? Just gonna have it, Botch, Rosemary, and Rosemary's still, by the way, gone in the Undead Realm.
It's not really a botch or same person.
There's semantics, Jerry. Semantics.
Grant, I like Courtney better, kind of like I liked cheerleader Melissa, or I like Alyssa Flash more cheerleader Melissa, and better than Awesome Kong's handler. So,
right. but yeah, at this point, if Trinity beats Mickey James, I say that's Mickey's farewell. If Mickey beats Trinity, then we have to finish the story with the Virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo before anybody else. So that's the way I'm looking at this match. It literally is a butterfly effect.
Or I just thought about this too, but I'm not going to change my answer. I'm going to still keep it as Mickey James winning the belt.
Go for it.
But What if Trinity is to win, and Mickey James that next night Impact says you know what, guys, I came back, I did my best, tried to win the title back, didn't win it. I think I'm done. And that's when D'Ambrosio comes out. I was like, no.
That's true. That's true because at the end of the day, the Virtuosa, I don't think it's going to rest until she gets that win. I don't think Kyle needs
more than any tag gold, more than any singles goal. Like her main thing in this life right now is to beat Mickey James.
Damn right, and she needs to. She needs to.
So that'd be it too. Mickey has some sort of crisis of faith after not winning the belt from Trinity. Says she's gonna leave. D'Ambrosio's like, nope.
Bum, 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 bum. Shows her the door.
Oh, that'd be fun. Oh, that'd be so great.
I'm just saying.
I kind of want Trinity to win now, so we're going to have that happen.
Okay. So the bottom line, we are super hyped for what is probably the most important women's championship match this year to date. If we're looking at the industry and what we've seen so far in it, besides Trinity's arrival being the Virtuosa, which I still can't believe via submission. But yeah, this is one of those matches where, again, it could go either way. I don't see somebody calling their shot during it. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. But
you don't cheapen it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't cheapen something like this. This match is too important towards the Knockouts division, towards Impact Wrestling. But right now, I'm torn. I really am torn, and I really do need to think more about this. But I just don't think Trinity would make this jump and prove this to herself just to drop it to a former WWE superstar / longer running knockout / friend. It's one of those things where right now I think Trinity has more of an upside to her in Impact as the champion. She seems to be having a good run. So we'll see. And again, we talk about butterfly effect. We talk about proving yourself. We talk about if you're transitional or not. We talked about being the face of the company. We talked about literally putting yourself in the record books. Gary, it doesn't get more important than this after what we saw, where Alex Shelley right now is unraveling. And this literally is the most important match in Alex Shelley's career. Alex Shelley defends the Impact World Championship against the Iron Man, the Walking Weapon, the Standard, and the longest reigning Impact World Champion in this company's history, and the one person he has yet to beat, Josh Alexander. This is 100% mental and physical. Everything right here is on the table. Nothing will be left unanswered. We're going to finally find out once and for all. Josh Alexander, are you just an Alex Shelley mark, or are you his superior? And again, Jerry, you talked about earlier with the guns. We talked about option C. We talked about call your shot. Here we go again. This has even more of a butterfly effect. What's your take on this? And I know how you feel about Alex Shelley.
You people laughed and scoffed at me when I said Alex Shelley was going to win that belt.
I know. I'm sorry. I've been waiting to say this to you. You were
I'm
right.
not honest to say I laughed and scoffed at myself but I'm a huge Alex Shelley. But I'm an Alex Shelley fan. I have been for since his early days in NWA TNA, back in early days of Ring of Honor. He's always been a shining star for me in those promotions. One of my favorite matches I actually have is a one-off tag match with him and Jimmy Jacobs versus Ace Steel and Colt Cabana that I have on my Second City Saints DVD. I watch that frequently because it is such a great match with so many great competitors in the ring. And he's only grown leaps and bounds. And it's from all of his watching of tapes and making of tapes. The whole paparazzi thing that he did for the longest time, that was his legit shit. He loved making tapes. He loved watching wrestling. He loved studying. He is a complete student of the game. And you have Josh Alexander, who's proficient in almost every fighting style you can think of. The dude is a walking weapon.
Right.
And so you have these two guys who are pretty much Scott D'Amore's Golden Boys in their own rights, and they're going to be going at heading up the biggest show in Impact Wrestling for the year. Jeez, it's really tough because you want the belt to go back to Alexander because he had to relinquish it, which sucked, And seeing his the unscripted moment where his kid tried to get the belt and give it back to his dad, that broke me. Heart-wrenching.
That broke me.
But And I can actually see, like, a moment where, like, if Alex Shelley were to lose, him giving the belt to, like, Josh's son and then let him run over and give it to his dad.
Oh, wow.
But that I don't see that happening. I see Alex Shelley winning this by hook or by crook. We're going to see that dark side of Alex Shelley come back out in this match because he now has that, like, Impact Championship. He has been wanting that thing for ages. Like, tag belts were great.
20 years to be exact, Jerry, and he won it in his second ever chance.
What's that?
20 years to be exact, Jerry, and he won his second ever chance at it.
So, yeah, you have to think. Tag belts, they were great for him. Like him and Chris Sabin, still tight. X Division title, he didn't really hold for very long, but he was like a stalwart in there. But his goal, like anybody else's in Impact, has been the World Championship. And he has that World Championship now. He is going to keep that World Championship. He got put on him more or less by circumstance, I think. But at the same time, now he's taking that ball and he's going to run with it as long as he can. And I see, like, Bound for Glory being this moment where he's, like, solidifies it by taking out Josh Alexander by hook or by crook.
At the end of the day, the champion's going to do what the champion has to do to hold on to the richest prize.
At the end of the day, it comes down to 3 seconds. And that's all Alex Shelley really needs.
Exactly. You said the right out of my mouth. Exactly. He beat Steve Maclin for it at Against All Odds out of nowhere and also successfully retained it down under. He beat Nick Aldis, who truly was his first test to prove, are you more or are you just transitional? And he beat Nick Aldis at Summerversary quite emphatically. He, of course, also overcame the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, at Multiverse United 2, who was also literally another mentor to him. The guys that Alex Shelley have literally paved the way for, in which case, again, he paved his own way. He's doing this for his generation.
I was about to say, you have to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Former NWA champion, long-running one, Nick Aldis. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Japanese wrestling legend, IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Lightweight Championship, every other championship known to man. Now you have, like, Josh Alexander, the longest-running Impact champion. So if he beats him, or when he beats him, that just adds to his legitimacy right there. 20 years to get where he's at right now, he's not going to drop that belt to Josh Alexander.
Yeah,
not tonight, or not that night.
Yeah, and then it just begs the question again, does someone call their shot? Does Chris Sabin, if he retains, keyword if, as again, we don't know anything for sure, we're just all saying, if he retains the SVG Championship, will he cash in option C, and will we see a match of the guns finally and truly see who the better of the two are? Because at the end of the day, Motion Be Guns, it's always been a game, I think, of mutual respectful one-upsmanship. But like you said, Alex Shelley is unraveling. And literally, Chris Sabin held this title before again, but he held it for a cup of coffee. So, proverbially speaking. So it's one of those things where I do think right now, if there's an end game for Alex Shelley, it could be Chris Sabin, but I don't necessarily think it could be that. And then on the other side, Paige, you got Josh Alexander, who, again, he calls this place his home. He's beating everybody on this roster and in and out of it, including Christian Cage to win the title in the first place. And then went on this whole entire expedition to gather himself emotionally, build his way back up, find overcome moves at Rebellion, and then he beat everybody that was put in front of him, including but not limited to Frank Kazarian, Tomohiro Ishii, Alex Shelley last year at Emergence. And like I said, on TV, by the way, for free, 59 minutes, 26 seconds, speedball Mike freaking Bailey. So again, both these men are true and tested, literally guided by Scott D'Amore, who tried to have a mutual sit-down interview. But as soon as Josh says transitional, Alex Shelley went off the deep end and attacked him. And before the two got physically heavily brawled with each other, immediately taken apart. But again, Alex Shelley right now needs this win. But Josh Alexander, I don't know necessarily if he needs it more for himself, or does he need it to further prove his point to Alex Shelley? It's almost like you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't. But I do think Alex Shelley deserves this. But you talked about draw earlier. You can't have a weird finish here. We can't have a draw. We can't have double count out. We can't have double pin. There has to be a winner. But how do you pick a winner out of this unless you call Alex Shelley transitional? That's the word of this match. Is Alex Shelley transitional? Because giving it back to Josh Alexander, That just proves Josh's point.
I'm about to say he's had his title defenses, but everybody would call him transitional if he loses to Josh. Because it would just be pretty much, it would feel like it's being a hot potato right back to him.
Well, now, I mean, hot potato.
The time's just flown by. Is like people forget that it's been months upon months that Josh Alexander was away. Like,
right?
So,
6 months.
Yeah. So now it's one of those situations where they kind of did paint themselves into a little bit of a corner because you don't want Alex Shelley to look weak in defeat. But you also don't want Josh Alexander to lose. You want him to get the belt back. So how do you do that?
Injure Josh Alexander again. I mean, we know Alex Shelley likes to dissect the body. That's how he beat Steve Macklin. And we know Josh Alexander, he's coming back from surgery repaired. If Alex Shelley targets that, you know he will. That might be the out.
Border City stretch.
Bingo. It's one of those things, though, where
like he doesn't. Josh Alexander doesn't tap out. He just passes out in the Border City stretch.
He breaks a man's body before he breaks a man's will, and that's how Alex Shelley affirms himself as the face and the better of Josh Alexander. And
all right, so that's how it gets done.
It needs to get done, something like that, and then we'll see if someone calls their shot. Or we get the confrontation and officially cash in option C for, I guess, Overdrive will be the next thing after Turning Point. I don't know at this point. But either way, this pay-per-view has so many different ways it could go across the board. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for Impact Wrestling, for all the championships and all the challengers, and who will get a chance to call their shot. And again, Moose is looming with an Impact World Championship opportunity. And Moose and Alex Shelley, to my knowledge, have not faced each other one-on-one. But Moose has beaten Josh Alexander and vice versa.
That would be some serious deja vu if like Moose shows up, like Moose wins that thing and tries to cash it at the end of the night.
He doesn't have to win the thing. Remember, he has the briefcase.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I mean. Like, just cashes it at the end. Oh, that'd be rough.
Yeah, but it'd be
if Alex Shelley wins. If Alex Shelley wins, and like, or hopefully when he wins. If Moose cashes in and somehow like Alex Shelley actually like, picks up the win on Moose, he gets like the win on both those two the same night. Oh my God.
Right? Then Moose truly is the face of Impact Wrestling. There's no stopping the man or questioning him at this point. He is what he says.
Yep.
But I guess we'll find out soon enough who truly is the greatest and who truly is bound for glory. But one thing for sure, we are bound for a phenomenal night of professional wrestling. This pay-per-view is going to deliver. It is going to be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see what unfolds, as honestly, this is what sets the pace going forward for Impact Wrestling. Good luck to everybody. And
it's going to be stupendous.
Damn it. And Jerry, good luck to you. Again, it's always a pleasure talking with you, my friend. I love doing these. I might do these from now on as just a big four because this is the biggest show of Impact Wrestling's year. This is one of the biggest shows in Impact Wrestling history, if we're being perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Since the reshaping of this company underneath Scott D'Amore and Gail Kim, and this roster that we've seen created with some alumni, but really led by a lot of younger generational talent. I mean, we talk about this card. You got Will Ospreay, Speedball Mike Bailey, Killer Kelly, Macho Slammers, Deanna Peraza, Tasha Steeles. You got the vets in Alex Shelley, Josh Alexander, Mickie James, Trinity, even though she hasn't been involved in Impact for even half a year yet, but we see already what she's done. And of course, you have...
She's been a natural fit.
She really fits the mold of knockouts. It's unbelievable. Chris Sabin, Pizza. It's amazing what this roster has cultivated, what this roster has reinvigorated, and what this company has created. I cannot wait for this show. Jerry, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I look forward to our next Impactful Duo convo down the line. But in the meantime, bro, any last thoughts? And of course, where can people find you?
It's been a pleasure as always, Noah. Granted, I like when other people were able to throw in their, here and there, but like when it's just me and you, it just feels a little better and it flows a lot smoother.
I do.
So, but yeah, you can find me on my Facebook group, RBAR, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation point.
Don't forget it. What the hell, Jerry?
Ridiculous Roman Reigns picture there.
Who made that picture?
But yeah, we have like different wrestling discussions, memes, whatever. Like it's just really good time. And I don't really use Twitter much anymore, but if you want to follow me there, it's Gerald_JSJ.
There you go. Simply put.
My bad. I don't use X.
Well, you know what they say. X gonna give it to you again. Poor X.
yeah,
Now he has to work under Elon Musk. I hate my life. You got more to live for. And I hope everyone's got more to live for following this conversation and got more hype towards Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. Stay tuned later on tonight, folks, for City Predicting with me and the Renegade, JJ, and who knows who else might be part of the fun. These are the next City Predictions that are coming up. Other times will be available soon. There'll also be simple tapes regarding these shows as well. Bound for Glory, we're going to play by ear because we usually leave that to our Impact affiliate, Dilla, who will be on the call for me during the Jeopardy Generic Live Watch Along event for Bound for Glory. And here are the next Live Watch Along events as made official by the man whose name is on the marquee in the middle. You will see us for Bound for Glory, Halloween Havoc, Turning Point, Crown Jewel, SmackDown Collision as the Friday Night War is underway. Oh, God. AEW Full Gear, and of course, the Thanksgiving tradition before you fall into food coma, AEW Dynamite Thanksgiving Eve, which is always a fun time, to say the least. Stay tuned for the weekly Saturday night shenanigans that are hosted by the Renegade JJ Williams for Open Mic Night. And follow him if you can on all the social medias and become a member today. And again, why do I do this? It's quite simply because I am but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. As I always wish to encourage you that there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another and respect each other. Protect your mentality too. Treasure your families. Just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this special live impromptu duo convo with the Simple and Powerful Duo. I hope you enjoyed it, and I definitely look forward to doing this again with my friend Jerry as well too. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell. This video goes live or on demand on this channel. You never know what I might do, whether it's scheduled or unscheduled. Hit the subscribe button. Help me keep growing this YouTube community. I assure you my creative passion, my content, my love for the industry is not letting up anytime soon, as the 24th marks 5 years in YouTube for me. It's been a hell of a ride, and I look forward to what the future holds as I look forward towards the future of Impact Wrestling as well. But that being said, Jerry, we made a hell of an impact. It's been a hell of a convo, but I think now we'll bid everybody a fine adieu as I leave you all with this until later on tonight for City Predicting 2. Make a positive impact in life and have a good night. Jerry, again, man, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, folks. And follow Armbar.
Aaron, BAR, exclamation point.
Don't forget it! Damn it! But I digress. Oh man, I love doing this stuff. I absolutely love doing this stuff. I don't care what anyone says.